Well, howdy, 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 nearly senior citizen here. Greetings, boys and girls, and welcome to this, a brand new day. It is Monday morning. Oops. Yeah, I startled this little feller. I accidentally bonked into his whiskers on the front of his face. And, of course, hamsters have these, well, you aren't going to be able to really see them. But, boy, have they got whiskers everywhere. And that's quite a sensory apparatus they have up there. So you bonk into them whiskers, it's like you've really bonked into them hard. So I just woke him up, literally. I woke him up, and so he's confused and wondering where the heck his bed is. So I'm going to put him back, because he is a sweetheart. This is Dr. Snurf. Here we go, little one. Thank you very, very much. There we go. He's going to go back to sleep now. He's going to dig around and do things, and that's okay. I had to use this. The plastic lids that go on these type of bins here, they're not made to pull back and leave openings like I do. And so because they don't have that tensile strength, they're not made for it, they tend to bow at the ends. And because they bow at the ends where the handles are, they break around the handles. And so if you put anything at all on top of them, then the weight just goes because it's broke. And so I was just using this to put across and then brace it on top. So what I'm going to do is go up to like Walmart and buy a bunch of doweling or some such that's just like an inch longer on each side than the bin cages, and then strap them onto the inside of the lid so that it doesn't collapse anymore. It's not a bad thing. In fact, if you do what I do, or if you pull it across so that when it goes and it falls, it hits the inside of the handle where you go, so it dips down like half an inch and goes thunk, so it can't fall any further. It works out real well that way. And Potatotron sent me a $30 IKEA gift card for a IKEA bin, which has apparently been labeled chew-proof for hamsters and such. Really, really thumbs up by various hamster group communities. So one of those has been shipped and ordered. And so thank you very, very much. Quite awesome. Greatly appreciated. And so that's going to be showing up, I think it was the 16th. And then little Gojira here. And yes, that is the Japanese first pronunciation of Godzilla. Thumbs up for that. Somebody mentioned that in comments and went, "Is that named after it?" And I was like, yep, thank you. It's quite awesome when people catch stuff. A very good thing. But that's going to be showing up, and then she's going to go from this cage into that cage, and it'll be good because this one's slightly smaller than it should be, and so she doesn't have as much room, which I can understand why she gets bored and is constantly trying to climb out of the cage. So I try to give her as much stuff to chew on, but there's not even really enough room in there. Well, I mean, there is for a wheel. If I use the type of wheel that is not the best for them, which is the mesh wheel, they can get bumblefoot. And while it sounds cute, bumblefoot, it's a, oh my gosh, I used to work in healthcare. There's the type of bacteria we have on our skin that you get cellulitis and stuff from, but it's super, super common. Problem is, with the rampant use of antibiotics and just mutations, that bacteria can get into wounds and turn into a very bad infection. In fact, I've gotten cellulitis from that bacteria, and I've almost died. It's taken hardcore IV antibiotics to save my life, so it sounds weird with the symptom bumblefoot, but it's an infection like cellulitis, and it hurts them, and their limbs swells up. I am so sorry. Once again, I tanked up on THC before recording, so hot oil there's a slight amount of damage, so you get increased mucus production, which means, of course, that I'm going to be clearing my throat through this entire time. My sincere apologies. But they get the cellulitis and the swelling, and it really hurts them to walk on those. And the mesh kind of wheels, they cause that quite easily. It's not guaranteed, of course. In fact, none of my hamsters have ever had bumblefoot from wheels. I have had a few in the past, even in the past 2 years, where they have had bumblefoot, but not from wheels, because the one that did have it within the past time here didn't even have a wheel, and it was just a minor bit. It involved like 2 toes, and so they had swollen 2 toes. But then that took like a month to heal up, but I was trying to make sure that they were good, and it did. So when that cage shows up, that's going to be a very good thing. Quite awesome and greatly appreciated. Once again, thank you so much, Potatotron. Greatly, greatly appreciated. I'm really worried. I have 2 pieces of mail from the Social Security Department. I had not realized, because of my depression, that when I moved here, I had not made a address change at the Social Security Department. All of my stuff has been largely working, but I had not realized that I hadn't changed theirs. So finally I got 2 pieces of mail here that made it to me. So I gotta call them up and make sure that I am not screwed, because they haven't been able to contact me, and I've got to make the address changes and such. So I'm gonna open up and take a look at that mail. I have been afraid to. I haven't been able to do anything about it because I got the mail on Friday afternoon, and they would have been closed by that time, and they're closed on the weekends. So I haven't even opened up the mail, because if it is bad news, well, I don't want to sit and fret on it all weekend and stew, and just because when I can't do anything about it. So this morning, after recording and such, when, well, it's 8:26 right now, so a half hour, I'm going to call up the Social Security Department, change my address, do everything that I got to do, make sure I'm not screwed. That wouldn't be good if I am. Well, my own fault, but so much of what's happened that I'm trying to pick up the pieces from is just, I was asleep through so much of my life. It is absolutely bizarre. I mean, when I say bizarre, I just that's because I'm looking back on it as being awake now. I'm more awake now than I have been in decades, which is not to say I've not felt anything or had no fun. I can remember even back in the late 90s, mid to late 90s, I remember having fun with friends and doing things. So you can sleepwalk through things that are even fun and enjoyable at the time, where looking back on it, it's like, man, that would have been so much better if I had just not been asleep from depression. And so that's good. It's good to be awake, and I'm going to find out what's going on. But also, talking about that one, I was thinking about this today because I can't remember what. But I've had a PlayStation 1, not ever since it first came out. It's like 1997 or so when I bought my PlayStation 1. And I got really, really good at the game Tekken 2. Super good, playing the character Yoshimitsu. So good, in fact, I used to hook up, now the Amiga monitors for the Amiga computer by Commodore, back when Commodore existed as a company, they had to be super good CRT monitors, because it was for, 4096 colors shown on screen. It had to be capable of doing that, and a lot of monitors just weren't, because a lot of computers during that time, 4096 colors on the screen was a lot. Graphic cards were not that far yet. Some of them could, but you had workstations. And so the monitor had to be good. And after my Amiga died, and I was on to just plain using my IBM clone computers from that point onward, I still had my Amiga monitor. And so I just hooked up my PlayStation to it and played. And the graphics were incredible because of that. But I got to be really, really good at Tekken 2, playing the character Yoshimitsu. I could win easily just bump, 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 bump. I'd bump up the difficulty and I'd do everything I had, and I was unstoppable as Yoshimitsu. And then one day, my monitor died. Before I could get another one, I had nothing to do. So my PlayStation 1 was hooked up to my stereo system, and the stereo system played stuff, and it worked. It's just the monitor was dead. And I had nothing that I could do, and I was bored. So my friends actually got to, when they passed through to go into the kitchen or use the bathroom or such, I was sitting there playing Tekken 2 as Yoshimitsu with no graphics, using only my ears to determine when to make my attacks, and winning. I could beat the game without being able to see. I thought that was rather good. I mean, when you can win the game just by listening and determining when to do your stuff, what can you say? Definitely a thumbs up. So I remember those times and doing stuff like that. So even though I was asleep, I still had fun and friends and time, and I was married during this period. It's just I had gone through being horribly depressed and my alcohol rehab, coming out and feeling like I wasn't even human, and then meeting a beautiful person who loved me for who I was in spite of all my damage and because of my damage. It was good. Unfortunately, my recovery never happened until after she perished, because I spent 10 of my 12-year marriage with my wife, 10 years of my 12 years married to her, watching her die in front of me until she actually did die in my living room on hospice. And at 2:30 in the morning, her body finally died after her mind had died, and she was just a breathing body for 3 days in my living room. And at 2:30 in the morning, she finally died. And I had to sit there with her dead in my living room until I could call up the funeral home and say, could you please come and pick up my dead wife? She is gone. And this is why I say the human mind is like stress tested for like 4,000 pounds of pressure. It's like you shouldn't take it to that much, but you can get 4,000 pounds of pressure per square inch and it'll stand up to that. Under emergency situations, you can take 8,000 pounds of pressure, but don't be surprised if things kind of break. And if you have to, maybe, if you've got nothing else, 20,000 pounds of pressure per square inch, if you've got no other way to protect yourself, the human psyche could stand up to that. And after 12 years of watching my wife die, I had like 400,000 pounds of pressure per square centimeter with titanium laser tip drills. I am surprised that I actually survived at all, not only just as well as I have. The fact that I've been able to pick up the pieces and put them together in any shape or form is incredible. And as I have stated, and it is absolutely true, this channel has been the foundation, the bedrock of my recovery. I was drifting and on my way out. I was going to be dying not that long myself. I was going to say not that soon, but that's not right. Myself, I had given up and was drifting toward death. It was out of terror that I reached out for a lifeline, and that was YouTube. Got me out of my head, into the world, dealing with people. If it hadn't been for my channel, I wouldn't have had a foundation or base of recovery enough to even know that I had to go to therapy. So thumbs up for that. And of course, thank each and every one of you that watches for having built my foundation, my base of recovery. It is quite awesome and deeply appreciated. I'm only 25% put back together. I've been walking into a deep, dark forest of dank, deep depression since I was 8 years old or younger. And I'm The shack that I've been holed up in is only 5 feet behind me. But I spent decades stuck inside that shack, and I'm walking out towards light and freedom. And it never would have happened if it hadn't been for y'all. So thank you so very, very much. It is greatly appreciated. Even the people that berate me and say, you own things, you can't be poor, therefore you are evil and a scam artist. Yeah, thank you for poor shaming me, but thank you as well for at least acknowledging that I exist. And when you're depressed, you need that. You need the outside world. You need to break the loops that are inside your head. Thumbs up. And now I've opened up 24 hours worth of comments in my community tab, and I'm going to go through and thank 20 to 25 people for having left me comments. Now, it is a range, because even though I'm counting an American Sign Language on the fingers of this hand, I've depression, fibro, and more. It is amazing that I can even remember my own name on some days. If I mispronounce their username, no disrespect isn't intended. I'm an American English speaker. We're just not good at pronouncing names. I'm better than most, but that doesn't say a whole lot sometimes. And of course, I'm not reading the comments right now. I'm just thanking you for having left a comment. Good comment, bad comment, indifferent comment. The fact is, you left me a comment. Now, the abusive comments are just going to be reported as, you know, abuse or trash canned immediately. But every other one that's not abusive, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, I let it stay up there, because thank you for having taken the time, for having left a comment. Now let me call my Chrome. So we have Daniel Yarter, thank you very, very much. And G Money, greatly appreciated. Super Vertinen, thumbs up and thank you. I enjoy virtual worlds. I bet I would too. And Fast Sail Fish, greatly appreciated. Kathy Kitscat, thumbs up and thank you. Oddball Daddy O, like the name there. Rob's Doer, thank you very, very much. PGM, thumbs up and thank you. Chief Brizo, and that's not a English O, it's got a slash through it, but it's not big enough to be a 0 either, so thank you very, very much. And the 8-Bit Simmer, thumbs up and thank you. Zylonic, greatly appreciated. Stanrock22, thumbs up and thank you. Gabby E, greatly appreciated. Austin Levy, thumbs up and thank you. Manuel Suarez, thank you. Common Zens, thumbs up and thank you. Genevieve Steiner, thumbs up. Gabby, and then a bunch of non-English characters of which I cannot recognize, but thank you so very much. And Matthew Flat, thumbs up and thank you. Little Empty, greatly appreciated. Ash 54G, thumbs up and thank you. Kite, I gotten lost now. I don't know if it's 23 or 24, so let's go with 24. Kite Glow, but there's a whole bunch of non-English letters which helped confuse me in the midst of the time. When I'm getting into 22, 23, 24, I get confused, and I'm not sure why, but I do. And Taff X Sanchez 92, greatly appreciated. Each and every one of you. Oh, my arm is so sore from having held it up in the air like that. Ay, ay, ay. Gray. I'm not quite sure what I was going to say on that. I think I might have been trying to say grade, but instead it just came out gray. Oh, shucks. Anyway, I've got a whole bunch of links down there if you could check those out. Twitter, Facebook, GoFundMe, Patreon.com, NearlySeniorCitizen.com. Thank you, Brian Glenn. That site looks awesome. I need to get off my, well, I need to stay on my behind so I can write, but I need to get off my metaphorical behind and start writing, which I'm going to do soon. Thank you very, very much. If you could donate to my GoFundMe campaign, to my PayPal account, or become a Patreon.com patron like one of these beautiful and awesome people, that would be beautiful and awesome. But if you cannot donate, or you simply do not donate, I do take all good wishes and deposit them in the bank of my heart, where I draw interest, so thank you very much. And if you could toss me a like, I do appreciate all the positive validation I get from my existence. Definitely a thumbs up. If you could subscribe to the channel, that would be very cool, greatly appreciated. I would understand if you did not wish to, but if you are down with it, I will do my very best to keep you entertained from now until the literal end of time. Definitely a thumbs up. Oh, hokey smokes, 19 minutes and 20 seconds. Anyway, though, I'm going to hopefully have a reaction video today. Hopefully a game video for the game channel, I think, maybe. I'm having issues trying to sign in to YouTube. It's not letting me sign into my other account, so thumbs up. Anyway, you take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side, and that, my friend, is a very good thing. You have a great day today, please.